Welcome, everyone. You are joining our SolarWinds webinar, Start Saving, Start Solving, 5 Essential Tools to Keep IT Going. Quick agenda and housekeeping items before we get started. We're going to go over some of the business challenges that we are seeing in the current environment. We have 5 basic tools, and we're going to be showing you some demos on how these tools can help address some of the challenges that we're seeing now. We'll have Q&A at the end, so today's session is about 60 minutes, so we'll have 15 minutes of Q&A on the back end. We do have a group here ready on chat, and we encourage you to send questions to the group as you have them throughout this session so we can address those questions during the session. And we really love to make these webinars as interactive as possible. So you're going to see some polling questions pop up for your participation throughout the session. Please take a second or two and answer those polling questions. That'll help shape our conversation today. I want to really quickly touch on our renewals program benefits, and I'm not going to go through every single bullet point here, but I do want to point out that SolarWinds offers one of the most robust renewals programs in the industry. The first year is included in the cost of your license, and a couple of the key benefits include all of the upgrades and product releases, 24/7 live technical support, and virtual instructor-led training for not only you, but everyone on your team. And what I want to emphasize is that regardless of whether you buy one product or you buy 50 products, you are entitled to all of these renewal benefits as a SolarWinds customer under active maintenance. So let's get started. Here's who's going to be on today's session. We've got Doug Tedder. Doug brings a wealth of experience with IT organizations. And what I really like about working with Doug is he is really focused on keeping the pulse of the marketplace to help IT organizations succeed. So welcome, Doug.
Thanks, Carla. Pleasure to be here.
Great. We're also going to have Ashley Ellington. Ashley is our expert tool sales engineers. Ashley works with customers on a daily basis, and really her focus is on ensuring that the solutions they are considering really are going to help solve the problems that our customers are looking to solve. So what she'll do is she'll provide a short demo of a few of our products today, and she'll answer any questions you have as they come through. And my name's Carla Palma. I lead the SolarWinds small business portfolio. And I think probably the most important bullet here that I want to point out is that that's bullet number 3, which, to be honest with you, I can't even pronounce Canis familiaris correctly, but AKA I'm a huge dog lover. So thanks for joining us today. You'll see that the first polling question is actually coming through right now. So if you wouldn't mind taking a second to answer that poll question, we'll get started here. Great. So start saving, start solving. We wanted to put together a quick session today to talk about what the current climate means and what it really means to small business. So we're seeing that overall, the Gartner forecast analysis is saying that overall IT spending is set to drop by close to 10% this year. So what we're seeing is that small business really needs to be smarter than ever with budgets. And what that ultimately translates to is doing less with more. This, we believe, is the best time for IT to invest in solutions that's going to keep the businesses moving forward. And lastly, We know that IT needs to secure tools that are going to help the challenges that they're seeing today, but also add value as we continue to move forward. So, Doug, would you agree that those are some of the things that the current climate means to small business?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a paradox when you think about it. We've gone through a pretty tumultuous time. We've been working from home now for a few months. And quite frankly, it was technology and the IT organizations that kind of kept our businesses afloat. So I find it to be a bit paradoxical now that, here budgets are being cut, but the need for IT is probably more pronounced than ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So where do we start? There are a couple of things that we want to cover today. We want to talk briefly about scenario planning for the new normal. We want to talk about some security concerns and consideration, maximizing your IT resources, and really how do we make it easier for IT? So I want to start first with scenario planning. And what should you anticipate? And Doug, what do you think the new normal means? We've heard this term consistently now for the past, I would say, 6 months on what this new normal means for small business.
Yeah, I think that's a great question that many of the listeners are likely asking themselves. The obvious thing is that working from home is no longer a perk. It's a capability that any size organization, especially small-sized organizations, must be able to deliver within their organizations. But it's not just employees working from home. Your customers are likely working from home as well. So it's going to change the way that businesses do business, and especially at the small to medium-sized business, we need a way to consistently communicate within the IT team. We need a way to take advantage, like you said earlier. We've got to start doing a lot more with potentially a lot less. So having the right capabilities to support that mobile or remote workforce and remotely support the operations of the organization is really critical. So some of the things that you might want to take a look at as a small business, critically evaluate what happened as a result of working from home. When everybody went home, what went well, what could have been done differently, and where do you now have some gaps with providing support of not only the back-end infrastructure, but also support of your customers in this new scenario. I think we're going to be here for a while. What do you think, Carla?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've been thinking about what are the actions, what are the things that small business can actually do now? And while we're not going to provide a plan for every single thing, I think there are a couple of things that teams can start really thinking about. And one of those things is actually planning out what different scenarios can actually look like. We're in the midst of this pandemic, and we really don't know when it's going to come to an end. So what I would challenge a lot of our small business and IT leaders is to understand what could those different scenarios look like depending on how long this lasts, depending on the various resources that you have. So I would challenge everyone to take a look and start thinking about what could this look like in a variety of different ways. The other thing that I think is really important, Doug, as a small business is to ensure that you are maximizing your IT team. So taking a look at processes and understanding what can be streamlined, what can be automated to ensure that the teams are focused on what's important now. I think that the last thing that may sometimes be overlooked is ensuring that you're communicating regularly with employees, I think is key. I think that one of the things that happens is we're moving so fast in this environment and trying to keep up with so many things that ensuring that your employee productivity isn't affected and that at the end of the day, your employees and everyone in your business understands what is the process for getting help? What is the process for needing support. So I think that all of these things are things that we need to start thinking about and considering, I guess, in this quote unquote new normal.
Yeah, I would agree. The working from home has probably exposed maybe some deficiencies or some gaps in how small business, especially small business IT, is working. It's no longer a trip down the hall to take care of things. Now there's a little bit of coordination, and certainly technology plays a even more enhanced role, I think, than perhaps it did just a few months ago in doing those kinds of things. So I agree with your advice. Looking at those processes, identifying where they can be streamlined, where there may be some gaps now, and what new capabilities or what new functionality do you need to take care of that has presented itself now that we're working in this work from home, remote kind of scenario.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I know that we will not, as SolarWinds, have a solution for every single problem, but in this particular case, I do want to point you to two of our products that I think can help streamline communication, and that is Web Help Desk and Dameware. We've got two products that are extremely affordable. I will give you an idea. Web Help Desk licenses start at about $700, and Dameware remote support licenses start at a little bit less than $400. So our IT tools are extremely, extremely affordable, and what these two tools can help with is ensuring that you're able to support your work, all of the folks that are now working from home and that need to have a really easy way to submit service requests and to ensure that they're able to get the support from your IT team that they need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Ashley so she can actually show you Web Help Desk and Dameware remote support in action. And if you have any questions as she's doing the demo, please feel free to put them through the chat. And actually, you'll see another poll question pop up. So please feel free to answer that. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and give Ashley control so she can show us a little bit more on Web Help Desk and Dameware.
Thank you so much for that, Carla. So I'll be sharing our Web Help Desk ticketing solution now. Web Help Desk is really going to help centralize your ticket management and automation for keeping track of tasks, ticket assignment, routing, and escalation, things like that. So we're maintaining communication between both our employees and our customers and making sure they have the support that they need. So I've just logged in here from the technician's perspective, and I'm looking at the dashboard. Here we can see our tickets based on their status, their priority, the tickets based on the technician group that they're a part of. So it's really an eagle's eye view into the status of our service desk. And all of these widgets here are interactive, so I can very easily click on all of the tickets that are currently open, and I can open the most recently submitted ticket here. So this tool is really simple to use, very easy for your customers and employees to submit the tickets, as well as submit service requests for things like their laptops, their software that they need. For example, this ticket that was submitted this morning was an IT request for this software that needs to be installed on this laptop. So we can have a dialogue between the user that requested the ticket, and we can have a dialogue back and forth with them here. And because they're needing help to install software, we can easily connect to their device, actually using our Dameware remote support for most desktop solution. So with that Dameware agent installed on their device, we can very easily launch that support session here to be able to connect to their device remotely.
And Ashley, how easy is it for someone to submit a request? How do they actually do it?
Absolutely. So they can request that ticket from email. They can also request that from their the client-facing web portal interface. So very easily they can submit a ticket for these different categories that we have, whether it be an HR request, an IT request, like we had for that software request, a legal request, also requests for change. So we're able to, have visibility into those items that we need changed or modified. So very easy, and we can, enable different drop downs here for the fields that we need to be entered. So we are collecting all of the information for the ticket at the time of submission.
And these obviously can be customized depending on the department for a workflow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So based on the different department that they're being submitted for, we have different tasks that we can create on the fly within the ticket that we're making sure that all the different items for the completion of that item are being handled and being tracked. So for example, for a service request for software, we've just launched that support session for Dameware remote support. So just with the click of a button here within the ticket, we're able to launch that support session. So you can see I'm virtually seated in that machine. All I needed were the credentials and that agent to be installed on the device to be able to connect. So now I can install software here. I can choose to take a screenshot if we had an error message that we needed to capture here. We can also do a file transfer, transferring from the local machine to the remote machine or vice versa there. We can also chat with the end user, making sure that we're maintaining communication here with them while we're in the session. So really easy tool to use here, really straightforward, and gives us advanced capabilities here within the session to be able to install software and transfer files. Now, those are both on-premise tools that we've touched on. There's also our Dameware Remote Everywhere application, and I'd like to touch on that now. So for our users to easily connect to devices, anywhere as long as they have an internet connection, Dameware Remote Everywhere makes it fast and simple to be able to connect to those users and gives us endpoint support for both desktops, laptops, as well as mobile devices such as Android and iOS. So when we first log in, we get visibility here into the status of our support requests here. We can see how many technicians are online, how many sessions are currently running. We can easily launch sessions here. There are two different types of sessions that we can launch. The first being an applet session, and that's going to be for our ad hoc support session. So no previous software needs to be installed on the end user's device to be able to connect to them. All we need to do is have the user go to startcontrol.com, and we simply provide them a unique 6-digit PIN. And once they enter that into the website, they'll be able to download and launch that applet session, and we'll be able to connect to them that way. The other type of session is the agent session, and this is going to be a persistent agent. It's a piece of software that will be installed on that remote device and will give us the capability to provide unattended support. And what I mean by that is that the user doesn't necessarily need to be on the other end for us to be able to access their device and help to troubleshoot. Maybe they were in another meeting or they were unavailable. Even after hours, you can help to troubleshoot any issues on their endpoint. So once the agent's been installed, it populates in your devices list, so you can easily logically group that based on their department or their location. And we can view their availability here, and it's as simple as determining which device you need to connect to and clicking connect this way. We can also view the applications that are running, any active processes, network information. So it gives us some visibility before we even connect into that device. So we'll go ahead and launch the session here. And you'll notice that it's going to have some similar capabilities that Dameware Remote Support has, and that we can do a file transfer and we can chat with the user here. But we do have a few additional capabilities, such as you'll notice there's a video recording that's taking place currently. So this really helps in aiding with your auditing and record keeping. So any interactions with your remote interaction with that machine is recorded and stored in your session details. That'll also be stored along with any notes or problem description that your technicians take note of whenever they're in the session. We also have the capability within the session to choose to stop, start, or restart different services that are currently running, as well as stop current processes that are running as well. We also can view the memory and CPU utilization here, perform that bidirectional file transfer, and we also have the capability to do some PowerShell scripting within the session. And I did just want to note that that is going to integrate with our SolarWinds Service Desk, and that's also going to be our cloud-based ticketing, ITSM, and IT asset management solution.
Perfect. So we've got two remote support solutions, and one is an on-premises deployment, and the other one is a SaaS product, but they're both fantastic to help provide our support to our work-from-home employees there. So what I'd like to move into is one thing that is concerning everybody right now, which are security incidents. We wanted to touch on security incidents because what we're seeing right now is that there is an uptick in really bad actors taking advantage of all of the vulnerabilities in companies that are now having these work from home scenarios, as well as having to manage all of these home networks, or personal and home networks. So Doug, why is data security a big concern right now, you think?
I think you hit it right on the head. Everybody's working from home now, and we don't necessarily have network administrators in all of our houses, do we? So
no, we don't.
It really is. It really is a concern for small businesses, especially. Many small businesses where they're maybe actually using their employees' personal laptops or desktops to get back to the network. How many of your work-from-home employees are really on a dedicated internet connection or even on using a VPN? So it is a concern. It really, our home users typically are a little more vulnerable than they were in the office. And so what are some things that we can do? Well, certainly we want to put some kind of antivirus or firewall protection at the endpoint if we can. We certainly need some way to educate the end user about the proper way of connecting back into the corporate network and those kinds of things. And there ought to be a way also to safely transfer data back and forth. Ashley gave the demonstration there on how you could do that from an administrator perspective, just to do patching and those kind of things. But we need also a way to safely transfer data back and forth, because we're working from home. Our customers are working from home. Our partners are likely working from home as well.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I think is important, you mentioned ensuring that employees, I think, understand and really remain aware of what phishing, for example, attacks look like. So I think that one of the things that is important and that we need to ensure that employees understand is that they need to remain aware, and they need to be able to report any suspicious activity, right, that they're seeing. So really educating and communicating how important security is right now. I know that recently the FBI is saying that the number of cyber attack complaints that are coming through have increased as much as 4,000 per day. So we know that there is an active, I feel like it's Christmas for all of these bad actors, right? Where they're seeing an opportunity to leverage this current climate where people are working from home. They know that folks that are working from home may not be as I don't want to say careful, but may not have as much security in place, as they would have in a corporate environment or in a business environment. So that is definitely something that I agree that businesses can really do today. I think the other thing that is important to help mitigate some risk is, what do you do if you do have some sort of incident? I think is just being able to have a response team in place, also ensuring that you know what that plan looks like and what you need to do to react to this. In some cases, we're going to have organizations or businesses that don't have that capability. So I would tell you, consider using an MSP service to provide that sort of support for you in this environment if it's something that you need and you can't do in-house. You touched on something earlier, which is what should you consider for your remote workforce? And again, we want to ensure that you help your remote workforce minimize the opportunity for any of these bad actors to actually capture any of this either internal data or customer data. So for us, what that means is we have a specific tool that can help do that. And our tool is Serv-U FTP, and we also have Serv-U MFT. And what this is going to help you do is it's going to help you at least allow your employees to safely transfer data and files that they need to. So for example, instead of employees using their own Google account or their own Box account to transfer files and information, providing them with a solution that can help actually do that work safely, I think it's something that is very easy to do, and it's an affordable way to help avoid a lot of these incidents that we're seeing, or help mitigate. I'm not going to say avoid. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ashley again, so she can go ahead and showcase Serv-U FTP MFT for you guys.
Thank you for that, Carla. So here we're looking at the Serv-U Management Console, and this is looking at it from an administrator's perspective. Using the Serv-U Managed File Transfer, we support FTPS, SFTP, and HTTPS protocols for those safe file transfers so that we can transfer files whether we're in our network or now that we're working remotely from home. So you'll see here from the Management Console that on the dashboard we can see all current session statistics across all of our domains, as well as logs for the entire server here. And on our navigation panel, we'll set our global or server level settings, domain and user level settings. So we're going to give each user a home directory, and that's going to be the location on the hard drive on the server where that specific user can send and receive files. So we're granting specific directory access to those files. From the file sharing console, web console, we're going to give our users the capability to send and receive files. So even if we needed to send files to a guest user, for example, we have that capability here. So essentially what we're doing is we're creating a specific access link that we're going to share with a user, and we're going to designate a specific expiration date or time, and upon that completion time that will expire. So we're just creating a safer capability to access and send and receive those files. We can also optionally create a password that's required to unlock that link so that we can access those files. So we can very easily send this link to the user here just by inputting their email address and submitting it that way. So very simple to help enhance the file transfer management with Serv-U.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Ashley. And to give you an idea, I know that you're hearing me tout the pricing. I just want to make sure that we are sharing with you how affordable these tools are. With Serv-U, licensing starts at $500, a little bit over $500. So that's one of the things that we wanted to focus on, is that SolarWinds offers some software solutions that can help you now and that aren't outrageously priced. These are solutions that you can purchase and start seeing value in today. So moving into that, our next theme is ease of use and quick time to value. So Doug, I'm going to go ahead and ask you this question. Why does ease of use matter now more than ever? And really, why is quick time to value critical in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly I think ease of use has always been a great differentiator in the use of IT and the use of technology, the use of tools and software. But just look around. We're working from home. We can't go into the office necessarily, or we're restricted in going into the office, and so. And we're up against some constrained budgets now. Our capability, our cash flows have been reduced, and our capabilities for investing have also been reduced. So getting that quick time to value, I think, is critical, just so that the organization can have a little bit of peace of mind that it's made a good investment, and be able to not only support the IT organization, the limited IT organization, and doing the things that it needs to do, but also the employees that are, still trying to navigate in some cases how working from home works and those kind of things.
Yep,
making it easy, and making it easy to use is just helps us become more productive, much more quickly, and really return that kind of a value back to not only the internal IT folks that are trying to keep the lights on and keep everything hemmed together in this weird world that we're in, but also for the employee, just to make it as painless as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some software tools that are so difficult to implement that they actually end up frustrating the IT team because, one, it creates actually more problems than at the end of the day it's solving for them. So ensuring that you are able to get out of the box value from software right now, I think, is very critical. And being able to easily solve these challenges that you're seeing in the business right now with a tool that can immediately offer value, I think, is just critical. And of course, with budgets that you said, you need to know that every dollar that you're spending really does deliver on that ROI that we need. So with that being said, I want to showcase our next tool. I know we're running on time here, so I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about ipMonitor. ipMonitor is fantastic. You can actually have ipMonitor up and running out of the box in about an hour. And essentially what ipMonitor is going to give you is really critical visibility into your environment. And that will show you what's up, what's down, and what you need to know on this beautiful, I'm going to call it a single pane of glass here, where you can really see what's going on in your environment. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ashley so she can actually show us the product in motion. But ipMonitor, it has a special place in my heart because of the value that I think it offers and what it can actually show you very, very quickly.
Yes, thank you for that, Carla. And while I'm sharing out my screen, I have to shadow that sentiment that ipMonitor definitely has a special place in my heart, as well as in regards to the value that it provides, but also the power that it packs with this tool. So here we're looking at my ipMonitor dashboard, and like we were discussing just now, it's going to provide you all of your essential IT monitoring for your network devices, servers, and applications. So like you said, from the single pane of glass, you can see the device status, CPU, memory, disk utilization, and any performance issues with critical processes. So just by easily dropping down into this specific node that I have visibility into, I'm building out different monitors for different components that I want to, be monitoring, that I want to have alerts on. So I can look at all these different processors and what my CPU utilization is here. But if I drop down into this specific monitor here, I have these great dashboards here that I can see, what my availability is here. I can run custom reports. I can create alerts. By creating the alerts, I can receive email, text message, notification, or have logs sent directly to my Windows Event log file. So we can also minimize our downtime by automating with remediation actions. So, for example, I could choose to, by going to my alerts here, I can easily restart a service. I can do backup files, reboot servers, run scripts. So really gives us a lot of capabilities here in managing our nodes. So giving us greater visibility into our network's performance with ipMonitor has been easier now more than ever, especially working from home.
Fantastic. And again, to give you an idea of starting price, ipMonitor licensing starts at a little bit over $1,400. So again, playing into this theme of affordability with our tools, a little bit over $1,400 for a license of ipMonitor. And you should be seeing a poll question coming through for you. So if you wouldn't mind taking a second just to answer that poll question for us, that would be fantastic. And our last theme here is going to be maximizing IT resources. And I want to talk a little bit about what should the priorities be for small IT teams? So, Doug, what do you think that the IT teams should be focused on now?
I think that's a great question. I mean, in some ways, the novelty of working from home is starting to wear off. We're becoming accustomed to this new normal, this perhaps hybrid way of working. And so, I think now is the time that small IT teams can maybe catch their breath a little bit and kind of look back at the response to the pandemic. What worked, what could have been done differently, where are we struggling today? I think that is key. And what other technology benefits could the business take advantage of? So, for example, many of the smaller businesses like restaurants have had to pivot during this time and shift from a dining in kind of model to a curbside or delivery kind of model. I think I read somewhere in McKinsey reports that like 60% of the restaurants have had to go in that direction. Similarly, the hardware stores, the mom and pop grocery stores have gone to contactless delivery and those kind of things. So, and technology has a huge role to play in both of those scenarios. So, helping your business, explore other ways of doing business, I think is a great thing for small IT teams to be focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that because things have shifted, and I think that there's a lot of unplanned work taxing our IT resources now because of the need for them to be nimble and be quick about how they're reacting with the changes that need to occur now in order to stay in business, right? I think that there are just so many unknowns, but ensuring that the IT team is able to make those shifts quickly is really important. I also think that, you mentioned, Doug, that we've been in this for some time now. So it is starting to have a little bit of work from home fatigue. So how do we keep and ensure that our employees are keeping productive, right? And I think ensuring that you make it easy for them to be able to get the support they need, to limit any downtime and ensure that we have employee productivity continue, I think that that's one of the important things. I also think that right now is an opportunity to start thinking about what other short-term tactical initiatives can be accomplished to help the business move forward. So I think thinking about simple things, and we touched on it earlier, about how can you streamline processes and what can be automated, and really looking at things where IT teams are spending a lot of time and maybe they don't need to be spending that time there, and they could use that to actually focus on other business objectives that are a little bit more critical during this time. So definitely agree with a lot of the sentiment that you have there.
Yeah, I think that's true. If you've invested your time up and before the pandemic in mapping out your workflows and looking for opportunities to automate and streamline, I think this has served you well. If you haven't, it's not too late, and it's still a great opportunity to do exactly that, because we're going to be in this kind of remote work kind of scenario for quite some time. So mapping out those processes and understanding where there are opportunities for automation or doing things smarter. I mean, we really want to make the technology work for us, not us work for the technology. And I think here's the opportunity now that things have shifted just a little bit. In some cases, slowed down a little, but it's only going to be temporary. We're working from home. Our customers are working from home, and we have to continue now to forge forward in this new normal.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. The last product we want to showcase is Engineers Toolset. We're coming up on time, so we won't be able to do a demo, but Engineers Toolset is one of these products that has over 60 products. It was our flagship SolarWinds product, so this is where it all started. It includes a lot of tools for you to explore, and really a lot of tools to understand and figure out what can be helpful to your environment. So we will leave it there with Engineers Toolset. And just some key takeaways from this particular session here. We know that small business needs to focus on tools that are going to help them keep moving forward in this new normal. And I hope that you heard from this today that we have tools that are affordable and that will help you continue to push your business forward. We don't have a solution for every single problem that you may be experiencing right now, but I do want you to know that there are some affordable options that can help you streamline processes and automate a lot of the challenges that you may be experiencing. I think another key takeaway is that security should be a top priority for your organization. That will look differently across organizations, but there is an opportunity for you to take a step back now and look at where you should be focusing, especially when it comes to data and how data is being transferred and shared. And also, of course, we mentioned it earlier, ensuring that your employees and your teams understand and are aware that they need to have a little bit of a heightened sense during this time because of all of the activity that's happening with all of these bad actors. The last thing is that every single tool that you have seen here today offers a free 14-day trial. So that will give you an opportunity to download, whether that's Web Help Desk or Dameware, or you need ipMonitor, try it out for 14 days. They're fully functional versions of the product, which will allow you to, again, kick the tires around a bit, understand if it's the right solution for you before you invest. We want to make sure that if there is a product here that can help you in your organization, that you have the chance to invest in something that's going to help today, but also can help you tomorrow. So I think there's a last poll question here that's just come up for you. If you guys wouldn't mind answering that, that would be great. And we're going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. So we've got folks here ready to answer any questions that you might have on either the products, or if you want some perspective from Doug, we're here over the next few minutes to answer some questions. So we'll go ahead and open up those questions now. I also want to make everybody aware of a couple of things. Even though we didn't showcase all of our tools today, and we just showed you 5 of our tools, we have a whole portfolio of small business tools that you can find on our Small Business Hub. And you will see there are a variety of products. Here we're showcasing 5 of them, but I encourage you to explore those that particular hub to understand a little bit more about our products. So we have a quick question here. Let's see here. And it looks like the question is, does Dameware include a file transfer method? And the answer is yes, you can transfer files and folders during remote sessions using Dameware. And another question coming through here on ipMonitor. And our question for ipMonitor is, can metrics that ipMonitor provide the same data that can be gathered through RMM? And Eva, our product manager, ipMonitor has many functions for complex devices, monitoring, alerts, thresholds, dashboards, and report. And some are available in the tool directly. All right, we're just going to hang out here for a couple more minutes if there isn't any additional questions. Doug, any parting thoughts for everyone here?
Well, I think, it's been a very difficult time for many organizations, and I'm certainly empathetic to those organizations that have been struggling through this. Technology has a greater role now than it ever has. The reliance upon our IT organizations have certainly increased in some order of magnitude. But there are ways to move forward in this, and just solid operational practices in place, coupled with the appropriate investments in technology, I think will serve the small IT organization well, not only in the near term but in the longer term. There is no part of any organization that doesn't have some reliance on technology. And some parts of some organizations are completely reliant on technology. So here's the opportunity of really working smarter, putting those good processes and good technology in place to help people be successful. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about.
Yep, absolutely. We also have a quick question here on how is pricing structured. So to give you an idea, we license Web Help Desk per seat. So it is for Web Help Desk is a named user. Dameware is also the same thing per seat. DRE, our SaaS-based remote support solution, is licensed by concurrent user. And what that means is you can register as many folks as you want to the actual license, but only one person can use it at a time. So that is how we license DRE. And ipMonitor and Serv-U are licensed per instance. So that's a little bit on licensing. Again, we really try to be transparent and very clear so that you don't come up on any hidden costs with any of our products. Besides DRE, these are all perpetual licenses, and they have an annual maintenance renewal, a small annual maintenance renewal. But again, with your first year, that is all included. All right, well, it looks like we do not have anything else here additional, so we are going to sign off. If any additional questions come through, please feel free to reach out. You can find all of our tools products featured today on SolarWinds.com. You'll also get a follow-up email from the team here with a link to the recording, and then you will actually get links to these product pages. So we really thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you keep an eye out for our next upcoming webinar that will feature some additional tools, and that is slated for next month. So please keep an eye out. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you on another one of our sessions. And we also encourage you, download a trial and see if these tools can help you now. Thanks for joining us, Doug. And Ashley, thank you so much for giving us those demos. They were incredibly helpful today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.